What is the best Batman movie? This is something that is debated among all comic book fans. But today, we're going to talk about what I believe is the best and most perfect Batman movie, both from live action and animation. In fact, I think there are actually two movies that deserve a 10 out of 10. And that's not to say the others aren't enjoyable, but these are just the two that encompass the character of Batman. But before we get into anything, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. So, Batman, one of the best characters in all of fiction, has had numerous appearances in Justice League films, Superman films, and obviously many, many Batman films. And although he's had a great run in live action, I personally don't think any of the live action movies are a perfect 10 out of 10. Now, the most recent Batman movie, The Batman, with Robert Pattinson, was very enjoyable and definitely reminded me of the animated series from the 90s. The Batman was a great movie. It had its flaws. I personally was not a huge fan of some of the mystery elements. I love a good noir story, especially with Batman. However, when they were going around and asking about Rat with Wings, they thought it was Batman, then they thought it was Penguin, then it was Falcone. I thought that definitely lost a lot of people, especially for me rewatching it multiple times. I definitely felt more disconnected. But then you get the moments when he's chasing, I believe, the Penguin and his men in the Batmobile. You get that iconic shot of him walking away from the flames, and that felt like I was watching the animated series. So it's because of that I think that the next Batman film, The Batman 2, has potential to be the best, and I mean best, Batman movie ever, not just in live action. And then the other movie I have to mention is The Dark Knight. That movie is amazing. Is it a perfect 10 out of 10? I personally don't think so. I think it's one of the best live action superhero movies of all time. But again, I don't believe it is the best Batman film. It has a great story, great acting. There are some disconnects. I know some of which couldn't be helped, especially with the love interest. There was scheduling conflicts, so the person who appeared, I believe it was Katie Holmes, in Batman Begins, could not appear in The Dark Knight, and I personally think that creates a disconnect where her death doesn't hold as much weight. Had that little piece of it been different, if it was Katie Holmes, again, nothing against the actress who was in it, I just personally feel like that creates that disconnect and then makes it really, really hard to carry over that emotional weight. Are there other issues with the movie? Yes. Overall, I rate it above a 9, probably a 9.5, 9.6, but it did not get a perfect 10 out of 10. But enough of the honorable mentions. Let's get into what I believe are the two very best Batman films. And the first one I'm going to mention is Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. This movie was so amazing from start to finish. We got to see a character, a story that I grew up watching in the 90s in an animated series that experienced all of the events in that show, in the sequel show, The New Adventures of Batman and Robin, and then even to Justice League, and then Batman Beyond. This series, or this movie rather, really encompassed what Batman is about. The Joker coming back, how he came back, what happened to Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon. They even mention Nightwing, Dick Grayson. It is absolutely phenomenal. And we see the weight of what happens. We see the flashback to when the Joker tortured Tim Drake and morphed his mind. But not only that, that theater scene where the Joker reveals to Batman he knows he's Bruce Wayne and he's disappointed about it, behind all the stern and batarangs, you're just a child in a play suit. That line, that whole sequence is so beautiful. And then to see Batman's rage charging through the window, attacking the Joker, throwing him around, and then making the audience and everyone watching and even himself believe he's going to kill the Joker in this moment. But the only person who that doesn't fool is the Joker. And he even says that. The Joker knows Batman's not going to kill him no matter how angry he is. And then the Joker does his famous sleight of hand, cuts Batman, and in their last fight, beats Batman. And not only that, earlier in the movie, we see he ransacked the Batcave and took down an old Bruce Wayne, used laughing gas on him for the first time ever for that character in that universe. It was insane watching it the first time. I remember being a kid when I first saw it, and I was absolutely mind blown. And every second that I watched it, and even still now, all the rewatches, I am glued to that screen. It is a masterpiece. And in that moment of the Joker beating Batman, he wants Tim Drake to kill Batman, to deal the final blow. And even though the Joker then gets killed by Tim Drake, and actually, funny enough, the movie has two different versions. The one that's actually more for kids, I think, is a bit more brutal, where the Joker gets electrocuted to death rather than just shot, which is an even other really cool item of the film, is that they had two different versions, and seeing both of the different versions, the little differences, the nuances, just amazing. And the Joker getting killed, and even though the Joker's gone, Barber even says it with his final act. He tainted all of them. And that put a divide between Bruce and everyone. And that's why we see at the beginning of Batman Beyond, he's so reluctant. And even in this movie, he wants Terry to give back the suit. And then we get to see Terry McGinnis take on the Joker. It's not just Tim Drake now morphed into the new Joker, which could have been cool, but I love that this is the actual Joker. This is all his DNA, and he now is fighting the next generation of Batman. And just to see the differences and how the story ends, it's just absolutely beautiful. The reunion of Tim Drake and Bruce at the end of the movie, absolutely perfect cinema. That is one of the two perfect Batman movies. And the other one is my personal favorite Batman movie, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. This movie is perfection. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. It has a great mystery storyline. We see flashbacks of Batman when he's first starting out, when he first puts on the mask, and Alfred is even afraid, and he even says, "Oh dear," because he knows that this is no longer Bruce. This is Batman, a symbol of justice and vengeance against criminals. And throughout this movie, we see how things could have been different if he ended up with Andrea, if she stayed. And even at the end of the movie, when it's revealed it's actually Andrea, you feel for her. You understand her. She is such a compelling character and a compelling villain. One of my favorite Batman villains. Because everything she did was horrible, but justified. Her life was ruined by organized crime. And we saw how much that tore up Batman dealing with that and even trying to save her in the end. And she refused. And then you add in the fact that the hitman who killed her father became the Joker. So we then have Mark Hamill's Joker going toe to toe with Kevin Conroy's Batman once again in a movie. It is absolutely amazing. And it adds in those funny elements from the animated series when he's going to attack Andrea. Instead of grabbing the knife, he grabs a big thing of salami and hits her with it. Hilarious. Joker move through and through. And he catches her in the end, and he's about to defeat her and kill her with a giant fan until Batman swoops in and saves her. That is Batman's purpose. He wants to save her. And even at the end, when the Joker's down and she comes back and she's going to kill him, and she's okay staying there and dying in the explosion, he tries to save her. And at the end of the movie, you see Batman broken and Alfred worried about him. And he says he's always been worried that Batman is going to cross the line, and that he's going to just become Batman and forget about Bruce Wayne. And it's so, so good when he says, no one could have saved Andrea, not even Bruce and his love for her, because she fell into that pit of darkness that Alfred was always worried about for Bruce. And that whole sequence is just amazing. And then hers leaving the locket in the Batcave to show she's still alive, she's out there, she made it out, but they couldn't be together because deep down she knows he's Batman and she became a monster. And even though it was justified, it's something that would eat him alive if he was with her. So she chooses to leave. And you even see that moment where someone tries to hit on her or talk to her, and she says, "No, I'm alone, always alone," knowing that she's destined to walk the world alone from then on. And then the same with Batman, and we see all of his relationships after that always fail, whether it's Barbara Gordon, Zatanna, Wonder Woman in the animated series, Justice League. He is going to be alone. And again, that's confirmed in Batman Beyond. And this movie is one of the biggest reasons for that, and that is why this is the #1 Batman movie of all time. A lot of other ones are great. You have Batman the Killing Joke, Batman the Long Halloween Part 1 and 2. They are great, great movies, but they are not perfect 10 out of 10s like these two are. And that is why my top 2 Batman movies of all time are Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, and Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And while you guys are down there, hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit that noti bell. And I'll see all of you members of the Bat family in the next video. Goodbye.